Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another Supatease video. We've got even more shifts of power and strength for the classes in 10.2 with this class change update that has just happened. And if you want to make sure that you're staying up to date with those shifts in power so you can start making your moves on what you're going to be playing for the next patch and feel confident in your choice, then make sure to smash that subscribe button so that you're always up to date with educational, entertaining, and news-related content for World of Warcraft. So let's get started. There is a lot of changes to cover. The first big one for Demon Hunter is that concentrated sigils has been removed. This increased the duration of your sigil effects and also made them auto-cast on target, which means you're going to have to aim your sigils again. And you're not going to have 4-second silences as Vengeance Demon Hunter currently in PvP, but this is also a big deal for Havoc with the Fear Sigil of Misery, having to place that on the ground now rather than targeting, and its duration has been brought down, and it seems like Demon Hunters have been getting nerfs overall recently. I think Fodder to the Flame was removed in the previous update, so now your CC is getting lowered, and it's going to be harder to use. So Demon Hunter is definitely falling off a little bit so far here. That was a big change right off the bat. Tactical Retreat and Unbound Chaos have swapped locations on the talent tree. Burning Hatred is now going to generate an additional 40 Fury down from 50, so even more nerfs for Demon Hunter. Inner Demon now deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets. This is going to be a bigger thing in PvE where you're actually hitting more than 5 targets. Inertia damage bonus has reduced to 18% from 20, and Chaotic Disposition chaos damage duplicated reduced to 17% from 21. So just seemingly nerfs overall for Havoc Demon Hunter. Vengeance Demon Hunter, Dark Glare Boon, and Sigil of Misery have swapped locations. Fell Devastation's cooldown has reduced to 40 seconds from 1 minute. That's going to be a lot of fun in PvE to get to your demon form more regularly. Fiery Brand now deals damage every 1 second, was previously 2, but it deals the same total damage over its duration. Burning Alive now causes Fiery Brand to spread every 1 second down from 2, so you're going to be able to spread it faster, I think, is the idea with this. So overall seems like quality of life improvements for Vengeance, but again, with concentrated sigils being removed, silencing a pack of mobs in a dungeon or in PvP is going to be significantly weaker. For Balanced Druid, it looks like they're bumping up our set bonus a bit because it was pretty pathetic. Our 2 set bonus is now going to increase the damage of Wrath and Starfire by 100%, up from 60. So this will be 50% in PvP. Still not maybe the best, again, because these spells deal more damage, in their eclipse as opposed to out of it. So it's kind of a wait and see here. For Amir Drasil's Dream Set's 4-piece bonus, though, now increases your current Eclipse's arcane or nature damage by an additional 2%, down from 3, but it will go up to, and it goes up to 10, down from 15. So that's a nerf. I'm starting to lean towards Boomkins, at least in PvP, are probably not going to wear your set bonuses, depending on how much versatility you lose. Maybe in Battlegrounds, with Solo Queue Battlegrounds coming out, you wear this because it's still just 5% damage during Eclipse. But in Arena, these are just not really satisfying ones. And I could see this not being very good in PvE either, because Wrath is just such a low damage profile in PvE. These not really going to help us out too much, unfortunately, for Balanced Druid here. For Devastation, you're just getting a 3% damage increase overall, and Disintegrate is getting another 15% damage increase. This spell seemingly gets buffed every single patch. It's just going to be just melting people with Disintegrate, at least when it comes to PvP. For Mistweaver Monk, Bounce Back now reduces damage by 20 to 40%. It was previously 10 to 20, and triggers when you receive 15% of your maximum health and damage was 20. This will not apply in PvP combat, as this would likely make you completely unkillable, possibly. Clouded Focus now stacks up to 2 times, was 3 previously, and no longer increases the healing of Vivify before its first application. Vivify and Invigorating Mist healing increased by 12%. Amir Drasil, your 4-set bonus. Chi Harmony now stores 20% of all healing done, up from 15. So some throughput buffs, survivability buffs that are not going to come through in PvP. For Mistweaver Monk. For Windwalker Monk, we liked the positive effect that Fangs of the Vermilion Forge had on Windwalker single target damage. I'm going to pretend I know what that is. Is that Vermilion City? Is this Pokemon? And are transferring some of that power from the class set into the base specialization as players adventure into Amir Drasil and replace their existing gear. The net effect of these changes is an overall increase in character power. Additionally, we heard player concerns that the effort required to play Whirling Dragon Punch wasn't worth the resulting increase in power. We agree and have increased the damage it deals as a result. We have also added additional damage to the Amir Drasil 4 set as the cooldown reduction While fun was not entirely meeting our goals for additional power granted by the bonus. I really like this paragraph. This is a really good paragraph overall. If something's complicated and difficult to pull off and doesn't feel rewarding, making it feel more rewarding so that, you feel satisfied when you're accomplishing something difficult on your class. This is a very spectacular paragraph. Honestly, like one of the best paragraphs I've read so far for developer notes in any of the patch changes so far. You're getting a flat 10% increase to your Rising Sun kick damage. Fist of Fury is getting a 5% buff, and additional damage to primary target increased by 10%. Whirling Dragon Punch is getting a 10% damage buff. Your 2-set bonus, Rising Sun kick bonus damage reduced to 5 down from 10. Okay, so that's why they're buffing at baselines because they're everything set bonus. 4-set bonus, Fist of Fury primary target damage reduced to 20 from 30. Again, because they're nerfing or buffing the baseline. Your 4-set bonus now increases the damage of Fists of Fury, Rising Sun Kick, Strike of the Windlord, and Whirling Dragon Punch by 4%. So just a flat-out damage increase as opposed to cooldown reduction. Okay, well, we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out, but it just seems like they're overall just bumping your power level up as it's going to be falling off as a loss of your current set bonus. For Shadow Priest, your 2-set bonus now triggers additional Shadow Word Deaths at 15% effectiveness, down from 20. Your 4-set bonus now increases the damage of Shadow Crash by 50% per stack, down from 100, as this thing was probably monstrous. Your 4-set bonus now highlights Shadow Word Pain and Shadow Crash at 12 stacks, and it was 10 previously. So just, nerfs overall for Shadow Priest. Not surprised. I think you got a target on your back from being so good at Mythic Plus for as long as you have been. So I don't think that that's super surprising. For Rogue, improved wound poison, superior mixture, and atrophic and numbing poisons have shuffled talent locations. For Assassination, leeching poison now grants 10% leech, but will not apply in PvP. Okay, I was going to say like that actually sounds crazy, but okay, it's not going to apply in PvP. Crimson Tempest damage, nerfed by 5%. Blindside now causes ambush to replace mutilate when the effect is triggered. I think this is a really good change. I think this is a really... I suggested this change on my stream for Outlaw Rogue when you get a proc to use ambush with Between the Eyes, or not Between the Eyes, the pistol shot proc, and it gives you an ambush proc. Just make Sinister Strike replace it, because then you can lower a keybind on the bar. So this is a really good change. I'm glad that they're doing this for Assassination. Sanguine Blades energy consumed per tick reduced to 2 from 3, and damage duplicated increased to 25%, was 20%. Sudden Demise now has a 10-second delay after triggering before being able to trigger again on the same target. It's probably a good thing. It's probably going to do an insane amount of damage in PvP. 4-set bonus, Envenomous Explosions damage is increased by 150% if it deals damage to a single target. Okay, now the set bonuses are looking better for PvP. The set bonus for Assassination and the discussion of Assassination was all about AoE, but that was not going to translate into PvP. But now, if it deals to... But again, it's got to be an isolated target. So if you're fighting like a caster who's by himself, this is going to be doing some gnarly damage. But if you're fighting melee cleave, it's probably not going to be that great, so it might be situational. For Outlaw Rogue, you're just getting a 10% buff to Sinister Strike, and Audacity now causes ambush to replace Sinister Strike when effect is triggered. This is such an insane quality of life. I can't believe, like, I swear I've been talking about this for like weeks on my stream. I might have mentioned it in a previous patch note update video as well. This is going to make Rogue feel so much better, because now you don't have to have an extra DPS keybind, and it just makes sense for this ability to transform into this, because you would only want to use ambush anyways and not Sinister Strike during a proc. So this is a really good quality of life change for Rogue. Killing Spree is getting a 25% damage increase. Oh god. Okay, well, you might be a little more viable in Battlegrounds if Killing Spree actually ends up being a viable burst option, because right now Outlaw just doesn't have any burst damage, and that's going to be really important. Mind you, you can probably still get CC'd on it. So you're going to have a tough time trying to find a moment to actually use it without getting CC'd. Or you could duo Q with a Holy Priest or something. They give you Holy Ward or something. Subtlety Rogue, you're just getting 8% damage to Eviscerate. I don't know why that's necessary, but okay. Exhilaration Execution now causes finishing moves to heal for 5% damage done, up from 3. You're getting more self-healing, man. I don't like that. I don't like Rogues becoming more tanky, man. Shadowed Finisher Shadow damage value increased to 30 from 25. And Shuriken Tornado Shuriken Storms triggered by Shuriken Tornado. That's a lot of Shuriken. No longer generate bonus combo points from Shadow Blades. A little bit nerfed to your AoE, but overall in PvP, these are insane quality of life and buffs for Rogue. I would say overall. Elemental, now this spec has been like one of the best specs in the game at the moment. So what's going on with it now here in 10.2? Fixed an issue where splintered elements was incorrectly granting you 4% extra haste than intended when activating against a single target. That's a very interesting bug that's been fixed, but it's a nerf overall. Elemental Blast can now refresh and extend the duration of the haste, critical strike, and mastery effects up to 130% of the base 10-second duration, but will still prefer to apply a buff that you don't already have. I don't know if you're going to be able to get a bunch of in PvP. That seems difficult to pull this off and get a bunch of LE blasts. Fix an issue where further beyond would not properly extend ascendance to the maximum duration if the extension amount would have put it beyond the maximum extension amount. So bug fix is a buff. Fix an issue where further beyond didn't properly extend extra ascendant activations from deeply rooted elements if you're already under the effects of ascendance from deeply rooted elements. I mean, that's also a buff. You're just getting an extension on the proc ascendances. Your force set bonus. Fix an issue where the force set bonus was being activated without having the force set equipped. What? That's a ridiculous bug. Like, how many other bugs are like that? Am I activating my Moonkin force set from 10 expansions ago, maybe randomly? That's an insane bug. Force set bonus. Fix an issue where subsequent lava bursts after primordial wave from the force set bonus were causing splintered elements talent to active. Is that a nerf? It's hard for me to know if this is a nerf. You need to let me know. LE Shaman's in the chat because it sounds like a nerf. Force set bonus. Fix an issue where lava bursts benefiting from molten charge from the force set bonus were dealing 80% of expected damage rather than 100% of that's a buff. Okay, I mean, I'm going to play Ellie, I guess, here in this next patch. Fix an issue where splintered elements was incorrectly granting you 4% extra haste than intended, so enhancement getting the same bug fix. Resto Shaman's force set bonus now increases the healing of Riptide by 20% from 15, so a 5% buff for Riptide healing. It's going to be good for Resto Shamans. Resto Shaman definitely, weaker healer at the moment overall, I'd say. For Affliction, Soul Eater's Gluttony has been redesigned. Soul Rot's cooldown is going to be reduced by 30 seconds, and with the set bonus, this is a pretty big deal, as you're probably going to be forced into playing Soul Rot. Fix an issue where Umbra Fire Kindling would only increase the damage of Seed of Corruption to the main target. And Demonology, Doom Brand is now more consistent with summoning a Doom Fiend. Doom Brand now has a chance to summon a Doom Fiend when dispelled rather than only when detonated. That's a really interesting change. So, if healers are just dispelling the Doom Brand before it has a chance to go off and never spawning a Doom Fiend, it'd be really feels bad. But now it might be like dispelling a UA where you summon in this demon that's going to crack you. So this seems really fun. Doom Brand is now only applied when consuming a demonic core, though. And Immutable Hatred should no longer be lost if your Felguard is out of range. Instead, he will use it as soon as he is within range. Fix an issue where Immutable Hatred was still functioning as its previous iteration. Destruction, fix an issue where Dimensional Cinders would benefit twice from critical strikes. That seems like a big nerf in terms of a bug fix. For Fury Warrior, the previous design of Reckless Abandon was influencing builds and rotations too heavily, encouraging players to focus entirely on either Bloodthirst or Raging Blow at the expense of the other. We want Fury Warriors to use both abilities regularly, so we are changing the design slightly so it only affects your rotation choice immediately after using Rampage to open up more build options. These changes will be applied to the 10.2 PTR via hotfix over the course of the week. Reckless Abandon now only empowers your next one Bloodthirst or Raging Blow, was 2, and Reckless Abandon's Bloodbath and Crushing Blow damage has been doubled. I mean, it's to compete with the auto blood or like the auto attack build. I'm forgetting the name of it, but this is trying to increase build diversity for Fury Warriors. It was likely only going to have one. I think it was the Annihilator. That's the talent I'm thinking of. Hopefully they do that with Affliction as well, like Haunt builds and stuff like that. I like playing Haunt, but Haunt is so pathetically bad. It is so pathetically bad. And then they're making buffs to Soul Rot and the set bonus around Soul Rot. So, there's no way Haunt builds end up being viable. And it's the same problem that Fury here was going to have that now they're dealing with. So, hopefully they can do something with Warlock. I'd really like some other builds for Warlock than just Soul Rot being. It's just been the same Soul Rot AoE Dream Life for 6 years. I'd really just like something different for Affliction, honestly, personal preference. For PvP specifically, Killing Spree is no longer going to be increased by 5%, but remember, it's got a 25% buff, so it's still a 20% buff overall for PvP. So some really big changes in this one. Seems like Demon Hunter stonks are starting to go down. Rogue stonks are going up a little bit with these changes. Windwalker going up. Devastation going up. So definitely worth checking out, making sure that you're staying up to date with these changes. I'm going to be doing some tier lists as well. There's going to be a PvP Battleground solo queue event with Blizzard on Friday. I'm spacing out on the exact time of it. I think it's either 1 p.m. or 3 p.m. PST or somewhere within that range, but definitely check out the blue post updates from World of Warcraft so that you can see when that event is if you want to play in that and give them some testing data for it. So seeing how some of these changes play through and picking what specializations. I'll be doing that on my stream, which is linked in the description down below if you'd like to check and follow that. Other than that, thank you very much for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed the update, and I will see you in the next one.